January 2018, only 1 month later, Fortnite overtook League of Legends to become the most popular game on Twitch. And by this point, people had really started to take advantage of the build mechanic as a proper strategy for staying alive, and realised that this mechanic distinguished it from any other battle royale. The building mechanic took the game from a mediocre third-person shooter in Season 1 to a game with a genius way of protecting itself.
When you're in the fight, and you're able to do something on the mouse or keyboard that could alter that fight, that could change that fight based on your ability or skill or knowledge, that's what you want. Right? You want this mouse and keyboard to be your Lamborghini right here, man. A stick-shift Lamborghini.
On top of this, the game just had pace like no other.
Number one, optimized. And that is why its popularity is just like
I should try it.
Yeah, you'll love it.
It was just non-stop action and players literally could not get enough. After overtaking League of Legends on Twitch in January 2018, Fortnite then overtook PUBG in terms of active player count in February 2018, only 1 month later. And it's not like the Twitch record stopped there, because 1 month later in March 2018, an event would take place that would break the record for the most viewers in a single stream on Twitch. Ninja playing with Drake, 636,000 concurrent viewers.
I got 5K donation if you get this dub right now.
Yeah.
Playing Fortnite had officially become mainstream, just in case it wasn't already before.
That literal one match with Drake made it okay for everyone to play video games.
So much so that Fortnite hosted its first major public event only 3 months later in June 2018, the Fortnite Celebrity Pro-Am.
Kinstar on him, Ninja, can he clutch it out? Ninja! Kinstar gets the win! What a play! Wow!
Famous music artists, UFC fighters, sports stars, and Fortnite players all playing for $3 million in charity prize money. After the event had displayed the capabilities of what could be possible in the esports world, it didn't seem like anything could possibly go wrong for Fortnite. They had the gaming world in their hands. What could possibly bring such a behemoth of a game undone? Well, on the 27th of June 2018, only 2 weeks after the Celebrity Pro-Am event, Epic Games released a new game mode into Fortnite Battle Royale called Playground Mode.
Oh my god, look at that, mate. Playground, sandbox mode.
Playground Mode offered a sandbox style of gameplay, giving every player the opportunity to practice their building with unlimited material and no limitations from other players. Now, while the community loved this newly implemented game mode, it began to do strange things to the skill level of the player base. Everyone started to get extremely skilled in a very short period of time. It seemed as though after Playground was released, the skill level that was achieved in 6 months previously could be achieved in only 2 weeks by simply practicing in Playground mode. After Playground was released, all of the newbies just kind of disappeared and everyone's skill level increased dramatically. It was difficult for new players to get a grip on the game because the beginner skill level was diminished following the release of Playground. It's likely that Epic released the game mode attempting to give those new players a leg up with a practicing platform, but it just seemed to get abused by high-level players who just wanted to get even better. Now, it's hard to actually quantify whether or not players left the game following the update, especially considering it was an ongoing game mode. But I think we can all agree, if you can reach almost peak skill level in 2 weeks instead of 6 months, and everyone on the game is now extremely skilled putting up a barrier for new players, it's going to affect the health of the game in a negative way over the long term.
Hello there.
So what was it that followed this? Epic Games began to notice the increased skill level of the general player. By the time Season 5 rolled around, just after the Playground mode update, everyone was extremely skilled at building all of a sudden.
Oh no, not the FIFA Classic!
No! The skill level of the players in Season 4 compared to Season 5 was almost incomparable. Epic saw this as an issue because how is a potential new player going to win a game versus 100 other experienced players when they have no experience themselves?
What? He betrayed me, bro.
They had to change something to give newer players a shot, but instead of removing Playground, the game mode that made everyone extremely experienced in the first place, they started to mess with one of the main things that made the game so fun in the first place, the shotgun meta. The most effective close-quarter weapon at the time was the range of shotguns, with submachine guns in the background as a secondary. Epic Games hatched a plan to increase the strength of the submachine gun range in the hope that newbies could just shoot through builds instead of learning how to build themselves. with the macro goal of competing with the shotgun meta at the time. However, they made two main mistakes with the implementation. Firstly, they made the submachine guns way too strong.
Like, this thing is actually dumb. It's actually dumb. The silenced SMG is literally the best weapon in the game right now.
And secondly, they made the main aspect of the game, building, completely redundant in the process, given that the new submachine guns could completely rip through enemy builds with 0 skill level.
I got you guys, don't worry.
Epic introduced a new submachine gun in the first update of Season 5 on the 17th of July 2018. However, Epic Games didn't really feel as though it did what they desired, so they added the P90 only 1 week later on the 25th of July. And this weapon was absolute carnage.
No. Not broken, by the way.
The beginning of Season 5 also saw the removal of the controversial double shotgun strategy, another update designed to reduce the strength of the shotgun meta.
After firing a shotgun, another shot cannot be fired for a very short time. So you can't double pump.
Oh, they're getting rid of double shotgun. Or just double shotgun. Double shotgun, period.
No double shotty in general. They're switching the meta to the double shotgun SMG. They're switching the meta.
It was at this point that everyone kind of started to realize what Epic was trying to do with the meta. It only took about 2 seconds of critical thinking to realize that they were trying to give new players the edge. But they made the new submachine gun so strong that people just stopped playing for a day or two until they fixed it. The almost laughable part about the update was that the people who the gun was put in for, the newbies, were complaining about the P90 in the same way that the pros were. After the update, it seemed to become trendy to start hating Epic and complaining about Fortnite. Over a 1-month period between Season 4 and Season 5, everyone went from thinking it was the greatest game ever created to a game doomed and destined for failure. Looking back, perhaps a self-fulfilling prophecy. Then various videos started to come out with titles along the lines of, "Is Fortnite dying?"
We're on the cusp of something great, and I'm not really sure if it lasts the next season, you know?
If we look at the Google Trends graph for Fortnite, the weekend where P90s were released into the game was when it was at peak popularity, with a slow decline following. And as we can observe from the graph, the P90 update was really only the beginning of the decline.
I will follow the trail of desperation. I got a fix on the creature.
Fortnite Season 6. The previously discussed SMG problem that was seeing many players leave the game had been fixed to some extent with various nerfs.
Are they still worth, like, losing and doubling up and all that? They're fine at very, very close range, but they're not, like, stupidly broken at far range anymore, you know?
However, shotguns still hadn't been returned to their former glory, and Season 6 brought its own set of problems. The popularity of Fortnite peaked upon the introduction of Season 6, however died down to the lowest point that Fortnite had been at by the end of the season. The introduction of zombies was just found to be a nuisance, with seemingly very few people advocating to keep the mechanic in the game.
Dude, these zombies, go away. You're making this so much more harder than it needs to be.
However, there was something else that occurred in this season which was another intangible phenomena that made many people lose a bit more respect for Epic Games. During Halloween 2018 in Season 6, Epic decided to re-release the Scythe Pickaxe and the Skull Trooper skin, two cosmetic items that were available only to the original Season 1 players.
Wait, the OG one's in the OG one's in the shop too. Oh my god, it's back. They put the OG in! Oh my god!
And while everyone seemed kind of happy to have the opportunity to purchase these skins, there was also an underlying sadness that Epic had sold out a little bit on their original player base. It kind of made buying skins less exciting, since everyone knew that there was now a possibility that no skin could be rare in the future, because Epic Games kind of showed that they would sell out on the rareness of a skin if it meant a slight uptick in short-term revenue. And since buying skins was less fun, this just translated into the game being a little less fun. However, the reintroduction of rare skins was nothing compared to what Epic would do to ruin the game in a following update.
It looks like he's kind of committed to the Infinity Blade here. And he's going to be the first to pick it up. He has to build this time around because he knows the player there. He's going straight to the dive.
And you hear that Infinity Blade as well.
He's still alive. He's breaking through everything.
Number 9, number 10 for Nice with the Infinity Blade.
He's just chopping through everything.
He is 400 freaking HP, people.
The Infinity Blade, speculatively agreed upon to be the worst and most game-changing update ever released into Fortnite.
Now, if you're still doubting the power of the Infinity Blade, look what happens when you dive into Tilted Towers. This thing will literally smash through any structure in its way, meaning you can pretty much level that entire city in a matter of seconds. It is absolutely disgusting.
A weapon that completely threw all of the rules out the window, altering not only gameplay but professional tournaments as well.
He gets the victory royale.
He sees blood. Here it is.
Player's gonna be right
All three land here. Here comes the hop over. That's the elimination on Coop Train.
Then throw another controversial plane update in the mix and you have yourself a potential recipe for disaster.
I hate planes so much, man. So much, dude.
Well, I say recipe for disaster, but the data might prove otherwise. It seems as though Fortnite actually had very little drop in Google search volume throughout Season 7, actually peaking in many places. However, I'd say that this was due to a mass number of people Googling the potential removal of the Infinity Blade and planes. When everything is going fine in the game, there's not really much reason to search for Fortnite on Google. These updates seem to provide mass traffic for the game throughout Season 7. However, it's questionable if this was healthy for the longevity of the game, given that in Season 8, search volume for Fortnite dropped extremely heavily after a small peak during the introduction of the season. Then the same story with Season 9, a small peak in popularity at the beginning of the season followed by another drop to the lowest point in the game's history. The beginning of Season 10 then returned the popularity of the game back to where it was in Season 8. The season was marketed as Season X, which added a little bit of excitement for what was to come in the season. However, as you might guess, the season itself came with its own set of challenges. It seems as though Epic didn't really get the message that players didn't enjoy ridiculously overpowered and unbalanced meta within Fortnite, because Season X began with a new update that some might argue was the most unbalanced update to come into the game since the Infinity Blade.
Oh, God!
Mechs appeared to be another one of those updates added purely to spark outrage from the community and flatten the skill gap, giving the lower skilled players a chance to win.
What's up, boys?
Just lay on the driver.
Go on.
Take him out.
However, all mechs seem to do is create a bigger gap between the haves and the have-nots. If you had a mech, you were unstoppable. If not, you would have a hard time beating someone who did have a mech. Following this, many people started saying that Season X was the worst season yet.
Season 10 was the worst season of Fortnite yet.
This was then backed up by the fact that 2 weeks after the beginning of the season, Fortnite once again hit a new low on Google Trends. But Epic Games wasn't stupid. They could see that the game was dying. There was only so many seasons they could produce before people realised, holy crap, I've been playing this game for 11 seasons, maybe it's time to find something new. They could see that every season more players were leaving, so they needed to refresh and revitalise the game. On the 13th of October 2019, at the end of Season X, an event took place where the Fortnite map was sucked into a black hole, an extraordinary way to end what was considered a bit of an awful season.
I'm burning up. You're not so tough. Spend your jobs, imbeciles. Before I saw the sucker call. Avenge your survival is the accomplishment.
But when the next season was supposed to start, nothing happened. Just this screen for 2 days straight. No one could play Fortnite, which caused the Fortnite search volume to skyrocket to a level never seen before. Because I guess if you're not playing Fortnite, you're probably Googling Fortnite, right? Then, after 2 days of silence, which was likely a publicity stunt to get everyone hyped and talking about the game again, Fortnite Chapter 2 was released. A full new map, new guns, vaulted guns, swimming, fishing. Could this be the return of Fortnite to its former glory? Well, as seen on the trend graph, not really. 2 weeks after the release of the season, the popularity was back down to where it was in Season 10, with many people saying that Chapter 2 update was a bit of a letdown, mainly focusing the complaints around the fact that the season was 4 months long with very few updates and new pieces of content.
Chapter 2 alone will almost be 2 seasons long, and all we have to show for it are a couple of new weapons. That's why I gotta ask, what have the developers been doing for this long?
By the end of Chapter 2, Season 1, the game had hit yet another low, a low that hadn't been lower than any other season. However, after the release of Chapter 2 Season 2, something bizarre happened. the popularity of Fortnite began to rise again. Instead of following the trend of the previous year, being a spike then a drop in popularity, it was a spike, then a drop, then a gradual rise to a new high that hadn't been seen in about a year. What could Epic possibly be doing that they weren't doing previously? Well, it's hard to say, but I have a sneaking suspicion that it might be related to the quantity of people at home currently rather than school or work. And since there's minimal data to discover the accuracy of this statement, it's hard to draw an accurate conclusion. However, since hitting another peak upon the release of Chapter 2 Season 3, the game seems to be on another downward trend, a trend that may certainly continue into the future. So it creates the closing argument for the video. What caused the gradual decline of Fortnite over time? Well, from everything presented and by analysing the opinion of the public, it seems to be a mix of questionable updates and just a loss of interest over time. Sure, it's easy to blame the bad updates, but at the end of the day, there's only so long that someone can play a game before it begins to become recurring and monotonous. It's coming up on 3 years since the game was released, and to think that the people interested back in 2017 are the same people interested now is possibly a naive judgment. Not that you really care about my opinion, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. And it might be controversial, but I think one of the main perpetrators was Playground in creative mode. I think that it would have made the game significantly more enjoyable to just trust the natural progression of people learning each aspect within the game while versing others in real time. The reason those first 6 to 12 months were so fun was because everyone kind of sucked, and it felt as though everyone was bad and getting better on an equal level. Suddenly when Playground was introduced and Season 5 hit, there just wasn't as much reason to play public matches because you could learn everything by playing privately. And then when you did go to public games, everyone suddenly knew what they were doing. The natural progression felt off and made the game instantly less enjoyable. Regardless, the game has provided people with so much entertainment and good times up until this point, so despite having a decline in popularity, it still appears to be an excellent game to jump into. And it's free to play, so as we said at the start, why not give it a shot?